We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Batman Off-World Issue 1. This is a mini-series from 2023 from DC Comics. Written by Jason Aaron, pencils by Doug Mahnke, inks by Jaime Mendoza, colors by David Baron, edited by Ben Abernathy. I have the main cover by Doug Mahnke and David Baron. Now I'm going to admit that I wouldn't have bought this if I had known this was a Jason Aaron book, not only because I find his work incredibly hit and miss, but because he also tormented us with that god-awful Jane Foster Thor storyline that was a total cringe fest of garbage. But I'd already put it on my order list and paid for it, so might as well read it, right? This takes place approximately 1 year after Batman started being Batman, and he goes off into space to learn how to fight aliens because apparently somebody hired an alien thug in Gotham City, and he had trouble defeating it, I guess. It's not real clear on how that played out. He ends up in Space Sector 0909, which is the Slag Galaxy, and the aliens aren't real impressed with his crappy little spaceship, which is some kind of prototype he spent millions of dollars on. But these aliens are called the Interstellar Brotherhood of War Workers, and they are led by Captain Sin, very original name, and he has some sort of tentacles for an arm, and they're looking for warriors, and they find Batman to be less than impressive. They don't even know what a bat is, so they don't know to be afraid of him, and they're not. They beat the crap out of him and throw him in a cell. He ends up making friends with a Tamaranian, sort of an uneasy alliance more than a friendship, I suppose, and he ends up doing menial tasks like mopping the floor, janitorial work, but he's been paying attention to how they do things, and he ends up finding something called a punch bot that's going to help him train. Overall, I thought the story was okay. Some of the names are a bit silly, and there's too much use of weird pastels that don't really make much sense, so I thought the coloring was a little off in parts. Other parts it's great. When there's this group of called Firestormers that have flamethrowers, they looked really cool, but there's a heavy use of pastels in here that doesn't always seem to really mesh well, so it's a little too bright at times for such a dark book. But overall, I thought it was a decent story. I'll probably pick up issue 2 to see how it goes, but I don't have high hopes because Jason Aaron is, like I said before, a mixed bag that lets me down on a fairly regular basis, and I don't like supporting his work because of that. But it is a pretty good story so far, and it was interesting enough that I'm going to pick up issue 2, so maybe this will be one of his good works and will impress me in the end. I thought it has a lot of potential as a storyline, and hopefully this Tamaranian woman isn't going to become the focus of the book, which easily could happen. We've seen it before with other miniseries like Iron Fist, where suddenly the secondary characters become the main characters. So hopefully that doesn't happen here, and we get a decent Batman story. So we'll see how that plays out. But in the meantime, this is an okay story, pretty entertaining, good art, mediocre on the coloring. The cover's pretty good, but I don't know why Sin's head is much bigger than Batman. Batman almost looks secondary in his own book, because even the aliens in the foreground are way too big. They should have made Batman a much more imposing presence. Your eyes aren't really drawn to him, they're drawn more toward Captain Sin's head. That makes the cover a bit of a miss, but I thought the premise was interesting enough that I picked it up, and so far I'm glad I did. But that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.